Hey everybody. Before we get started, I just want to say that the second half of season 1 is going to come out a little bit more sporadically than the first half did. It's still going to be on Tuesdays, but not necessarily consecutive. So the best thing to do to follow along is subscribe or follow us on social or join our email list, all of which you can do from our link tree, which you can find at linktr.ee/someone'sinhere. I'm doing a lot of this on my own, so I appreciate you bearing with me and supporting and listening, and I'm really excited about the rest of the season. Today, we do have an episode for you, which is going to start now. Enjoy.
I don't get the sense that you've had a 90-minute conversation with very many people focusing entirely on nuances of parenting. How is this conversation impacting you in that way?
Yeah, I think part of the reason we're talking is because of an experience I had at work where I was like, whoa, no one has ever talked to me about diapers before. I've never been in a conversation with it. And my supervisor is telling me that some people change diapers for 4 years for one kid. So that seems like a big part of life that I just have never been in a conversation about. That was me talking to Alex, who I'll introduce you to in a little bit. We were talking about diapers, specifically a conversation that really stood out to me that I had a few years ago when I was chatting with my supervisor at work, who I'll introduce you to now.
Hi, my name is Jessica Espinal, and I'm related to Ben, because I'm his supervisor and colleague and coworker. And at some point, I think I became his friend, but I'm not sure yet.
Do you remember that conversation at all?
I do remember the conversation. It's a little shocking that you remember the conversation. I thought it was interesting that you were so interested in the topic. You were like, what? 4 years old? What do you mean? Why so old? And I'm like, when you're 4, you can barely do anything. And it's interesting how you don't think about all these things that your parents do for you until you have a child or are responsible for a child.
Do you feel like changing diapers is an appropriate workplace topic?
I mean, probably not. I don't think I would go up to our CEO and be like, hey, do you remember when you used to change diapers? Isn't that so crazy? I don't think it's appropriate, but I think you and I were in a different comfort level, had known each other for some time. And I think once your coworkers start becoming your friends, it becomes a little more of a not taboo topic.
Do you enjoy those types of conversations?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's always nice to hear other people's situation, predicaments, horror stories, triumphs, failures. It could tell you a lot. I don't know why, but it tells you a lot about a person when they share intimate details about what they do in the restroom and how they react to it. So I think
wow, I could not agree with Jessica anymore. And I have a hunch that you can learn a lot about a person when they share the intimate details about helping their kids go to the restroom, too.
No matter how many baby books you read, no matter how many parents you talk to, your mom, your aunts, everybody, they're like, oh, you'll change so many diapers when they're newborns. And it's 1,000 times whatever you thought. You're really changing diapers all the time. And it spills everywhere. It's just another situation. It's really something. Oh.
Welcome back to Someone's in Here. This week, I'm going to have some of my first ever conversations about diapers. We'll be talking to parents, someone that is about to be a parent, and then a special guest and former diaper wearer at the end. I'm your host, Ben Castleman. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi again. So I had two really great, pretty long conversations with parents, both of whom have babies who are in diapers and will be in diapers for a while, and toddlers who were just being potty trained. I learned the ins and outs and a bunch of stuff I didn't even know to ask about. But I felt like all this info was lost on me a little bit. I wanted to gift this information to someone who could use it. So I talked to my very pregnant friend, Arielle. Hi, Arielle.
Hey, Ben.
So I decided to talk to some parents about diapers.
All kinds of diapers, pee and poop.
Yes, but I'm hopefully not having a child anytime soon. So I was like, let me play these interviews for Arielle.
Oh, honored.
Since you're my only pregnant friend, how does that sound?
Sounds good. If I go into labor, I'm just going to make a signal and then we'll pause, and would appreciate coming back to any of these tips when she's on the outside. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
And the she you're referring to is your baby.
Well, that is my baby. Yep.
Is there a certain number of kids that you and your husband, Michael, want to have?
It's a bit of a negotiation. And also, again, if you talk to me next week after I birth one, maybe the answer is going to be different. But I've always wanted 3 or 4, and I think he wants 2 or 3. And we're both from families of 3. So I feel like we're trending towards that happy medium, but let's see how one goes.
Have you thought about how long that means you'll be changing diapers for? Like if you're really good at changing diapers and if your kids are very smart, you're still changing diapers for, I would say, at least 7 to 8 years?
I have not until this moment. I've thought about in the immediate term how much lost sleep it's going to mean. But I guess many of those lost hours of sleep will be to diaper changes.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to meet the parents?
I am so ready. And thank you for thinking of me as your only pregnant friend, as the recipient of this knowledge that you're about to drop.
Of course. All right, here we go.
My name is Alex Rikleen, and I think you're talking to me about my 2 children pooping. I am like 90% stay-at-home dad. The other 10% is working in fantasy sports.
My name is Marissa, and I am the mom of a 2.5-year-old and a 7-week-old. And we're going to talk about poop and diapers. Is that right?
First impressions?
They sound cool. I'd be friends with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm intrigued to hear about how it's going with the 7-week-old. Again, I think because that's like what I'm immediately facing.
Yeah. So Marissa has a 7-week-old whose name is Quinn and a 2.5-year-old named Olivia. She has 2 girls, and then Alex has 2 guys.
2 boys.
2 boys.
Got it.
Around 2.5, and then Eli is 3 months old. All right. I'm going to let Alex kind of explain the premise.
There's a lot about kids that they don't tell you about. Leslie and I created actually a running list. Leslie's my wife. We created a running list, and a bunch of our mutual friends who have had babies, when I hear I'm like, hey, I created a list of things that aren't in books and no one talks about. Do you want me to send that to you?
Okay. So basically, Alex and Marissa have a few tips that you might not find in baby books, and I'm going to play them for you and get your reaction. Without further ado, here is tip number 1.
I can only speak for breastfed babies. I'm not sure what the signs are with formula, but you want them to have yellow liquid poop.
You just made a face.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying.
Why did I?
Yeah.
Because I think about yellow liquid poop as if I had yellow liquid poop, something would be wrong. But that's what I guess it sounds like we want. That's what we want to see happen.
Yeah. Let's listen a little more.
Gaining weight and they're having these yellow liquid poops, you know that they're getting the milk that they need to live.
I did not know baby poops were supposed to be yellow.
Yeah. The whole transition they go through. So they come out black. Meconium? I don't know if I'm saying
another face.
Okay, sorry.
No.
So
I'm just wanting you to explain.
Okay, because it comes out black, but then where does the yellow liquid come from?
I think the earliest baby poops are black.
Okay. Like in the hospital, I should expect to see black poop.
I think.
Let's hear.
Like the earliest baby poops are black.
Yeah, like come out of the womb and they have their first poop and it's like tar, dark brown, black, super gross. And then they literally give you this like progression of images in the hospital of like what your baby's poop should look like changing color from black to brown to this like mustard yellow with seeds in it to just like yellow liquid.
It makes sense that the hospital is focused on that because there's babies can't talk to you or tell you obviously about what they're feeling and thinking. And there's only so many biomarkers that like you can use as evidence of how the baby's doing. And so I guess poop and pee and vomit, right? Are
nice biomarkers.
Or, yeah, I don't know if I'm even using the word biomarkers, right? I think those are the like only pieces of information you really have at first.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big part of it. That was tip number 1.
What's the tip? To expect tar and then mustard seed.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Tip number 2.
Are you familiar with the concept of a blowout?
Arielle, are you familiar with the concept of a blowout?
I am. I have 5 nieces and 3 nephews, and I've changed like baby to toddler diapers. And it feels like there's this point, I think it's when they're in between sizes of diapers. I'm not quite sure, where like you just have, in my family, we call it the poop explosion. It's just like all up their back and everything. So I'm pretty sure that's probably what he's referring to with the blowout, but let's see.
A blowout is when the poop, for one reason or another, is not contained by the diaper and leaks out either up the back onto the clothes there or out the sides.
What makes a blowout so unpleasant?
Well, you have to change everything. A blowout, there's poop on their clothes. Depending on how bad it is, you might need to change whatever you were doing and give them a bath in that moment. We've had at least 2 where not only did we need to bathe and shower the child, but I needed to bathe and shower because it got on me too.
Okay, I noticed some faces there. Is this bumming you out?
Not bumming me out, but there's like all types of logistics involved that I have questions about, like what happens when you have a blowout and you're out in public and then you have poop on your clothes. I know you usually carry like an extra set of baby clothes in a diaper bag, but does that mean my husband and I should be taking extra clothes in case we get pooped on at any moment?
I don't know. I think that is a good thing to worry about though.
Right? I don't want poop on my clothes when I am going about my day.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, I don't think the baby really knows whether you're at home or in public. So
it could
does
happen
seem
anywhere.
like it could happen.
Yeah. Shit. I'm a little nervous now about going out in public.
Well, we move on.
Okay.
We're going to go to tip number 3. How many diapers do you think you get through a day?
Well, with Olivia, when I was a really good first-time mom, I would change like every single pee she had. So it was like 8 was like the minimum in a day. But with Quinn, now I know that you can let them chill in the pee. The pee's not doing anything. Like they're fine. They're not getting a diaper rash from pee. So it's probably still around 8, but it's probably not more than 8.
Okay. It seems a little bit like you're okay with Quinn sitting in her own pee.
She doesn't cry when she has a super full pee diaper.
So it's more that you think she's comfortable with it than that she won't get a rash.
Yeah, and she doesn't get a rash. Also, she can't talk, so I don't know. Ben, maybe she's super uncomfortable. Now I'm going to change every diaper. Great, we're going to have to double diaper because Castleman told me my baby can't communicate.
Just, wondering how you got so comfortable letting your child sit and pee.
Second child. That's it.
Second child. So according to one parent, it seems okay to let your kid sit and pee at least your second child. Do you think that's something you'll do, or maybe wait to make a decision if you have a second kid?
I think I have to see and like get to know her comfort level or how she communicates. Like, is it about crying? Is it a certain face or a certain position? Like, I don't know. To me, and I'm not underestimating at all how much work each diaper changes, I hope. But if you're already doing 8, like, why not do 10 or 12? I don't know. I could be eating these words very shortly. 8's a lot still.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I think it might be diapers are not inexpensive.
That's totally fair.
But yeah, I think she's saying even with her second child, 8 is the minimum.
Okay, that's helpful.
So Quinn does not cry when she has a diaper full of pee. Does she cry when she is pooped?
Yeah. Screams bloody murder.
Do you feel like crying is one of her most productive means of communication?
It's her only means of communication. Yeah.
That's her only means.
That's it. Like, she has literally no other way of, I guess that's not true. So if I'm like holding her on my shoulder and she wants to breastfeed, she will like jerk her body to try to get her head there. And that's pretty effective means of communicating. It is clear to me that you want the boob. But other than that, other than telling me that she wants to eat, the only other thing she can do is cry.
So is the full process of changing Quinn's diaper one of the times that you're understanding your daughter the best?
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah. And because she like has such clear relief when she's on her changing pad. So yes, I think that is a time where it's really clear that I've met her need and we're working as a team. It's nice.
What do you think it's going to be like communicating with your baby before she can talk?
I think it's going to be hard. I'm not great with uncertainty, and neither is my husband. So I think there's for sure guesswork or trial and error that goes into this. And hopefully over time, we start to notice patterns and communicating with her becomes easier. And she also gets a little bit older too, and maybe has additional ways of communicating, whether it's hand gestures or movement or whatever. But yeah, it's going to be a challenge. Like, I fully know that I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm like happily sort of just walking into that, because what choice do I have?
Yeah, I think they can't smile for
A while.
a little bit.
Except when they're farting, I think.
They can only smile when they're farting.
No, I mean, I think sometimes when they have like little toots or gas bubbles and they're sleeping, like you'll see like a corner of their mouth raise and it like looks like a smile because they feel that tickle of a gas bubble. I'm pretty sure I'm not making this up.
I am not going to do any further research on that, because I'm going to choose to believe that the only time a young newborn can smile is when they're farting.
I think that's true. Sorry.
No, that's awesome. I hope that's true. Let's hear a little bit about when we get beyond data points. In your mind, a fresh diaper makes Quinn happy?
Yeah. I'd say it's one of her favorite things. She doesn't have many favorite things right now. Cuddling, boob, not being in poop.
When she gets the boob or gets to cuddle or is not in her own poop, what does Quinn's happiness mean to you?
Oh my God. It's so gratifying. It just feels so good to make her smile. And to know, like, when she's cuddling with me, like, to know that she is feeling safe and loved and is in her happy place is so gratifying.
That's so nice to hear. I hope I feel that way. I think bonding with your baby, from what I've heard, can take many types of like shapes and forms and timelines.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing I'm trying to keep in mind is like not really having an expectation about what that's going to feel like. But I think it's like really nice to hear when that click does come, that you do have that gratifying moment, because it's a lot of hard work.
I think that's smart. I think there are so many places where you're going to have expectations
Mhm.
that, you know, you can't really know until they happen.
Like everything in life.
Yeah. Okay, great. We got tip number 4. This is a good one.
Changing a pee for boys is like super easy, barely an inconvenience. Changing a poop is a little worse just because like there's more risk of getting something on your hands. You have to like touch more stuff. It smells bad in your face while it's happening. It takes longer. You've got to be really careful because especially the younger one, but also the older one, you got to be careful to make sure their feet don't kick the poop. Like, so you got to hold their feet while
You're in disbelief.
Yeah. I think infants kicking poop, that makes me think of like a horse. I don't know. Like, you know how like a horse sometimes like will kick up its feet. I don't know. Yeah, this is overwhelming.
You're making it seem like infants often kick poop.
Yes. Infant kicking poop is a frequent problem. Infants flail. That's like what they do.
But
like,
So my baby girl's gonna kick poop.
yeah, I think she might.
Okay. But her feet are so far away from where the butt is. I don't get it.
And trust me, I had similar questions and I will voice them
Okay.
very soon. And they'll flail, and then I'm struggling to understand the mechanics of how the poop gets close to the foot.
So let's start first. The diaper's around the butt. When the child poops, it goes out the hole and it spreads. And a lot of the direction of spread is towards the front. Number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, you start picking up and wiping and you're pulling the diaper away so that it doesn't keep getting on the kid as the kid is moving and it's not getting on his clothes or anything. So you're actually more likely to get the like poop on his feet, which are kind of flailing, than on like back on the side of his butt because you sort of pulled it away. And I guess if I had a long enough.
Did that make sense to you?
No.
No,
I don't know.
I don't get it either.
I don't know how Alex is changing his diapers, man. I mean, I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong, but maybe he should take away the dirty diaper and put it not by the feet and have that clean one underneath as he's wiping.
I truly don't know. I think I was a little confused in this explanation. I think this
requires a demonstration.
Yeah, I think it might be one of those things that you have to, I guess, see to believe.
Totally. And I've never seen it. I've babysat, I've changed diapers, but I'm not sure if this is like an Alex thing. I mean, let that be the worst thing, right? That happens to her or to me is that she kicks poop in my face. Like, okay, I can deal with that. But I'm genuinely just surprised to know that is something I got to be looking out for.
I agree. I think it's entirely possible that not every baby kicks their poop, but some do, apparently.
Yeah. Good to have the heads up. If you do have children, and by the time it is your time to think about these things, just think how ahead of the curve you're going to be. You're going to know about dodging poop being kicked and yellow mustard seeds and letting your baby sit and pee.
Yeah. I think maybe me, Alex, you, Marissa, will be writing the book of tips for things they don't put in other books.
Yeah.
We have some fun bonus advice.
Love it. Hit me.
This one is actually not about diapers, but it might just come in handy any minute now. This one is about when you're in labor.
Oh, no.
I'll go ahead and say it. You often poop during labor. It's like the thing that nobody wants to talk about. Like nobody talked about how common it is to poop during labor. I pooped during delivery. I pooped both of my kids.
Is this something you know about?
I do, yeah. And I also took a birthing class with a doula. And one of the things that she imparted on me, but it's like basically the only time you practice this type of pushing in your life is when you poop. And so that has changed my personal mindset these last couple months on the toilet. In terms
You've been thinking about it while pooping.
Well, and I've also been trying to practice my deep breathing. For labor while I'm pooping.
Did your doula tell you to do that?
Yeah.
That's smart. Do you have a hunch either way? Do you think it's going to happen to you?
I have no idea.
Fair enough.
I didn't care at all because I'm pushing out babies, but I know that I have friends who were like totally freaked out by it.
Why do you think like pooping on the table, pooping while giving birth is not talked about?
Because people are just so grossed out by poop, and like it's not the like beautiful giving birth experience that every woman wants to imagine that they'll have, where you just like push out this baby into the world and it's magical, and then they're on your chest and it's beautiful. And like in reality, there's so much blood. And like you're often doing it with your partner, and you maybe don't want your partner to watch poop coming out of your body. It's not sexy.
Are you freaked out by Michael seeing it?
No. Michael and I talk about poop very often. I don't think that will faze him.
Good.
It's not sexy. Nothing about giving birth is really sexy, I would say. But
it's interesting that we talk so much about like the miracle of childbirth, where like in the miracle of childbirth, there's often stuff that reflects what we would think about as like the opposite of sanctity.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it takes some of the magic away when your nurse has to be like, let me grab a wipe. Like that. I don't know. It absolutely takes some of the magic out of it.
I like didn't think it was going to be particularly magical. I think it will be magical when she's here, and I can't wait for that. Maybe it's because I'm like kind of, scared to have a baby in general. But no, I think the process is shitty. Excuse my language. So no surprises, but I do really appreciate how open I think Marissa was in sharing that experience. And like, that has been one thing the past couple of weeks that's been helpful, is just when people are genuinely willing to talk about it, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all part of it. But then you get your baby.
Yeah. Seems worth it.
I hope so. There's no turning back now.
So that's the end of our segment. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pumped. Let's do this.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You seem a little stressed.
I mean, I'm going to be stressed. I was going to be stressed even before I knew about mustard seed poop, So it's like, let's just, add more info. Knowledge is power.
You feel like you're more prepared?
I think so. Yeah. I do need to go order more diapers, especially if the minimum is 8 per day.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much, Ben. Honored.
Hi.
Hi.
Dave, that's Ben.
Hi, Olivia.
Say hi. Look, that's mommy's friend. She's waving.
Okay.
You can't.
I felt a real sense of accomplishment having had my first few adult conversations about diapers. But when I thought about it more, I thought about how removed all of these people were from actually being in diapers themselves. So I asked Marissa if I could interview her daughter, Olivia, who had very recently stopped wearing them. Do you remember when your mom used to change your diapers?
Yeah.
Was that a nice thing for her to do?
Yeah.
Does your sister wear diapers?
Yeah.
Who wears diapers?
Queenie.
Queenie wears diapers?
Mm-hmm.
Why does she wear diapers and you don't wear diapers anymore?
Queenie's a baby.
Right. And you're not a baby anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Don't close it.
Why?
Because then we can't see Ben.
I don't want to see Ben.
You don't want to see Ben. Oh man, we don't have to do this. You're not having fun? Apparently, 3-year-old Olivia did not want to answer my questions or even see my face. When you're tackling taboo topics, you have to be prepared for people who can't handle the scrutiny of your no-holds-barred style of interviewing. But I wasn't going to flail like a baby about to kick a poop. So instead,
I promoted her mom from interviewee to Someone's in Here's newest field correspondent and had her ask her daughter the tough questions.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What do you think about diapers?
It's too little for me.
So you don't wear diapers?
No, they don't wear diapers.
What do you do instead of diapers?
I'll go pee in the potty.
On the potty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you happy to use the potty?
Yeah. The big potty.
What's the big potty?
The toilet.
The toilet? What do you think about that?
Good.
Once we graduate from diapers, it's hard to look back. Even for Olivia, diapers seemed like a thing of the distant past. To thoroughly cover the topic, I had to look into how someone like Olivia would get to what she calls the big potty. How would someone train for that?
Do you have to think about the mechanics of going to the bathroom when you're teaching someone to go to the bathroom?
Yes. I don't think I'm alone in thinking of like poop as a push activity. What they're actually trying to do is relax. The sphincter muscle is a muscle that you need to relax to let it open. And so they're talking about like slide and relax and not like push. And I'm just like, that's not how I would have ever thought about it.
I don't think in conscious memory I've ever felt like sliding and relaxing was the key to going to the bathroom for me.
I don't think so either. It's not for me either.
That sounds nicer than what I do.
How do you like explain to a 2-year-old to become aware of that feeling in your stomach where you're going to go? That's like really hard to put into words. I don't think we ever did find a way to put it into words, but somehow we all become aware of that feeling and what it means. And then it's all about timing. It's like, can I get to a toilet in time? What are the consequences if I don't?
It's probably hard to teach that too. What are the consequences? Because I'm sure the consequences feel bigger as you get older. I'm sure.
Right now she's just like, there's poo-poo in my pants. There's poo-poo on the floor. And she's like, fine with that for the most part.
So Joe will be hopefully peeing and pooping by himself for a long time. Is this the first skill that you've taught Joe that you know will like last him almost a lifetime?
No, because one of the things that you don't realize about kids until you have them, they really don't have any skills. You've got to teach them all of the things. They have to learn how to hold a fork and bring the fork to their mouth. They have to learn to express things that are on the inside to the outside. And that communication is a skill, and he'll hopefully have him use that one for a while.
Is that why there's so much room to mess up? Because there's just like so much to be taught.
Maybe.
Are you confident that you like taught the right way to go to the bathroom?
I mean, I don't know that there's a wrong way to eat a Reese's or go to the bathroom. As long as the stuff ends up in the right place, I think you're good. And he's got a pretty good track record now.
You learn so much as a kid. How to hold a fork, how to evaluate consequences, how to express things that are on the inside to the outside. This goes for both physical needs and communicating your feelings. I feel like as an adult, I'm still figuring a lot of these things out. And because Olivia just started to grapple with some of them, I thought it might be helpful for me to get her fresh perspective one more time.
You don't like going poo-poo?
Yes.
Yes, you do, or no, you don't?
Yes.
Why do you like going poo-poo?
Because it makes my body not be constipated.
Do you eat any special foods to make sure that you don't get constipated?
Green food.
Oh, green foods? Okay. Is poo-poo gross?
Yes.
Why is poo-poo yucky?
Because it's so yucky.
But why?
Because it's yucky.
Does it feel like you have to go poo-poo right now?
No.
So how would you know if it's time to go poo-poo?
Later.
Later.
Yeah.
What does your belly feel like when it's time to go poo-poo?
I go to it.
Okay.
My advice to you, to parents, to people about to start this, when it comes to anything with kids, especially young kids, is be it diapers or sleep or anything else, everything is a phase. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is the way that it's going to be forever. Nothing is the way that it's going to be for even very long. By the time you've noticed a trend, you are already a meaningful percentage of the way through that trend. For better and for worse.
For better or worse, your early years of both life and parenting are fleeting. I think that's part of why there's so much attention paid to milestones, like a child's first words or first steps. And because of that, I feel like I have a general sense of how a parent feels when those moments happen. What I still don't know is how the unremarkable moments feel. And maybe it makes sense that I don't know that, but now it's my job to know. Well, kind of. At my actual job, when there's something I need to know, I go to my supervisor and ask. So I thought maybe Jessica knows about this too. Does helping Mason out in the bathroom, changing his diapers, giving him baths, etc., feel like you're providing care for him, or do those things feel like a chore?
A chore for me is like the dishes. They will never not be dishes. Laundry, they will never not be laundry. Cleaning his butt, they eventually will go away. So it's definitely care, like it's temporary.
Do any of these tasks feel like expressing love?
Well, you definitely have to love somebody to do a lot of the things that parents do. I mean, you have to just say, you're my little me. You're a little me, and I appreciate your whole being. And I love you so much because I'm just doing all these types of crazy stuff. They throw up all over you. They poop on you. They pee on you. So if that's not love, I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is.
Going to the bathroom, for me, already presents a multitude of problems. It seems inevitable that if you're helping someone else with relieving themselves, there has to be a level of care that you have, at least if you're doing it properly. I'm glad I'm more prepared for what this care might entail, even if I don't necessarily want this responsibility tomorrow. On the other hand, even though I briefly got to speak to and hear from Olivia, the thought occurred to me that I might not know how it feels to be in diapers ever again. But just as soon as I had that thought, I realized I might be wrong.
Does changing diapers, giving baths, potty training, etc., feel like providing care for your kids, or more like a chore?
That's so funny because what jumped into my mind was how I can imagine if I was changing my own parents in the future's diapers, that would really feel like an act of service and love. I guess something about them being older and unable to perform a task that they could for so long, that would really feel like care and love, where my instinct is it feels like a freaking chore with my kids, but it is an act of care.
So you have thought about the fact that your parents might need assistance going to the bathroom at some point.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that'll feel like?
Next time on Someone's in Here, we investigate what that feels like.
Oh my God, it drives me crazy. I go 10, 12, 2, 4, 7 at night.
We'll hear from Nancy, who just started wearing Pampers, and some other folks who know what it's like to be an adult using diapers, or to care for those adults, or to sell them the actual diapers. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for listening. Someone's in Here was created, edited, and produced by me, Ben Castleman. Thank you to our guests, Jessica Espinal, Alex Rikleen, Arielle, Marissa Werner, and Olivia Werner. This episode contains original music written and composed by Gabe Graham. The cover art is by Yeji Kim. The theme song, which you are listening to now, is by Alex and Matt Schumann. Our consulting producer is Shane McKeon. Editorial notes by Jacob Sherman and Adam Yates. If you like this episode, please share it with a friend and leave a rating and review wherever you listened, especially if it's Apple. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at someone'sinhere_podcast. You can join our email list at someone'sinhere.substack.com. Thanks again for listening. I'll talk to you soon.
A couple days ago, we were driving home from daycare and I was like, Liv, can you hold it? And she was like, no. And I was like, oh my God. All right. We have like a potty training potty in the trunk. We're prepared for this. And I was like, all right, do you want me to pull over? Do you want to use your little potty? And she was like, okay. And I was like, but Liv, can you hold it? We're going to be home so soon. And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, this isn't making sense. And my sister was in the car and she's like, Marissa, does she know what hold it means? And I was like, Livy, can you hold your poo-poo? And she was like, Mama, we do not hold our poo-poo. And I was like, oh, okay. Liv, can you wait to go poo-poo? And she was like, yes, I will go poo-poo on the potty at home. And I was like, okay. I'm like, hold is such a common thing for us to say, but the kid is picturing picking up her poo-poo and she thinks she's getting like brownie points with me for being, we do not hold our poo. You're right, kiddo. We don't. But yeah, I don't remember what your question was.